Hey everyone, how are you doing? It is a lovely Sunday evening. I don't even know what day it is. I think it's November 21st, around 7 o'clock, Sacramento. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all of you showing up. If you're here live or if you're tuning in at some later date. Um, this show is conceived as a way to kind of lay down a document of this moment that we're all going through. Um, we have multiple crises hitting us, and they just seem to keep coming in hotter and faster as time goes on. 2020 is certainly one for the books for me, and I'm sure it is for most of us. So I'm really playing with the concept of essential in this show. We prior to this pandemic, we had an idea of essential workers being people who kept us safe, kept us healthy. You know, healthcare workers, first responders, all that kind of thing was considered essential. I think in most people's minds, myself included. But with the pandemic and the shutdown, we've kind of all expanded our notion of what it means to be in a society and what the essence of a society is. We've all been alone for a long time. You know, some of us more alone than others, like literally all by themselves. People are dying in that condition and, you know, being found by strangers. So it's kind of been a heavy time for a lot of us. And I'm hoping that we'll take this time to really think about what we want out of our society and what we're willing to accept, what we're willing to put into it to make this society the way that we want it to be. I know for me, one of the essential factors in society is the arts, eating different food, just socializing, you know, with people. I don't need to be around people that are just like me or who think like me all the time. You know, I like to mix it up. That friction is kind of what creates us, you know, placing each other in these contexts, these new contexts, allow us to expand and grow and, you know, really see what we're about and refine our thoughts. Nobody has the same thoughts you did when you were 5 as you do when you're 40. You know, your experience doesn't allow that. You grow, everything changes. And hopefully you find yourself in a supported environment where you can express all those changes that you're going through. So to me, that's what a functioning society is. You know, I've thought about this a lot prior to the pandemic, and it's only gotten more involved. My thoughts on this topic have gotten more involved as the pandemic goes on. I'm an artist, semi in the public eye. I think this condition speaks to a lot of my friends and artists, you know, other artists that I know. We kind of walk this paradox where we need to have our personal space and get lost in our own thoughts and kind of explore what we want to explore, but we also need to get into the mix with other people and, you know, throw some ideas around and, you know, have other people tell us that we're totally crazy and none of that makes any sense. And we can reevaluate and, you know, come back a little stronger and say like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Let me get rid of that crazy ass idea. Or go into it further and really, you know, grind it out and make it make sense. Maybe it was just a matter of the way you were expressing it. And throughout my whole life, there's been places that have really facilitated this kind of thing. When I was growing up in Sacramento, there was all these, the coffee houses were becoming big. And I don't mean big as in corporate big. I mean, people were really starting to hang out there and, you know, get in the mix with other people. There was no internet at that time. There was no cell phones at that time. So we would kind of come from all over the city, congregate at these coffee houses. and see what was up, listen to music, just talk trash and, hang out in the street corner literally for hours. It was a really lively and good time in downtown Sacramento. And a couple of people have kept those places alive. I mean, there are a lot of restaurants in Sacramento. Whatever your proclivity is, you can find some place that is, going to cater to you. And it's been a cool scene these last few years. But this pandemic has obviously put a strain on things. And there's a couple of places that are dear to my personal heart, that have always kind of facilitated artists, marginalized people. One of those places is Luna's. That one has been around, I don't even know. It's been 20, maybe 30 years, maybe longer than that. Always have music, poetry, lively conversation. It's one of those places that just no matter what night you go, you're going to be stimulated and, just wrapped into something immediately, some kind of creative vibe. Another one of those places that is relatively new, I think maybe the establishment itself is 15 years old. It's called the Casbah in Sacramento. And it's currently owned by a couple of friends of mine, Debbie Chang. I know her as Debbie Wu, but her government name is Debbie Chang, and her partner Tanya Azar, and they picked it up about 5 years ago, I think. So it's one of those places that's open late. They serve all kinds of just amazing food, cocktails, drinks, everything's good there, and it's just a very warm and inviting environment. This picture here is not the Casbah in Sacramento, but it is a Casbah somewhere. And it sums up the vibe of our Casbah pretty well. And this is Tanya, who had a baby not so recently. In my mind, that was last year. But yeah, it looks like her baby's now, I don't know, 3, 4. She's that big. And yeah, they're just really, really wonderful people, and they're just on the right side of pretty much every issue that exists and confronts us. Here they are putting up some signs. I pulled all these pictures off of their Facebook. I hope they don't mind. It's a public page. I'm sure they don't mind. But yeah, they're fighting against single-use plastics in this picture, which kind of sucks because right now everything is takeout, and that's all that stuff is. Maybe they're using good ones that is like you can reuse or something. But it's a rough time. We're all having to compromise all kinds of stuff in all kinds of directions. But these women are very, very righteous, and like I said, they're just on the right side of everything. And everybody I know in Sacramento loves them very much. And it's kind of a bummer that we don't get to hang out there as often as we used to. But anyway, I got to sit down with Debbie. Tonight's conversation was pre-recorded. And the reason for that is that she's working tonight. They are back open for business. They are doing the thing. Before I get to the clip though, got to remember, this whole show is about COVID awareness. So, we got to do a little PSA and remind everyone to wear your mask. The mask is not for you. If you're uncomfortable, that's the way it is. You're doing it for other people. You're doing it for your community. We do a lot of things for our community, safety things. We stop at red lights, for instance. That's a pretty obvious one. You don't walk around just spitting everywhere. There are things that we do to keep each other safe. When you're sick with the flu, you don't go out. I mean, you feel terrible, but you also don't want to get other people sick. Wearing a mask is not that big of a deal. If you work in a wood shop, if you do any kind of painting, you wear a mask, like you're gonna hurt yourself in those instances. But this is really something that's more about keeping each other safe and keeping this society functioning. We all want to get back to getting our hair cut and do whatever we want whenever we want to. But the longer we drag this out, by not doing these simple things that we can do to keep each other safe, the longer it's going to drag out. The whole reason for that is that we have no leadership on this whole thing. That's another piece of this thing that we're all going to have to confront sooner rather than later, is the kind of leadership that we allow to take power in this country and in our cities and everywhere. You know, this was predicted. This pandemic was not a surprise to anybody. I've been hearing about this kind of thing since the 80s at least. And you know, there are professionals in the field of epidemiology and all kinds of other stuff, you know, whatever those medical terms are. But there are people that know how to handle this stuff, and they're not running things right now. To me, that's an unacceptable situation, and I'm very much focusing on, you know, getting people, finding those people who are capable and competent into positions of power, not because, you know, we agree on some kind of niche, you know, social thing. There's a whole sphere of society that we need to focus on, and we need to focus on all of it. You can't just focus on abortion or, you know, whatever else these kind of fringe, what do they call it, social aspects or social, I forget what they call it, but it's like single issue voters. But we need to really focus on the whole big picture here. I'm living in Sacramento, California. I've mentioned that. This summer, the air was poisoned for 2 months solid. And that comes down to, you know, the way that we manage our forests, the way that we manage everything, from like our energy, the way that we get our energy, the way that we've allowed our cities to grow. We need to confront it. We need to handle it. We need to get in there and deal with all this kind of stuff. But right now we got COVID. It's kind of an immediate threat. It's really like killing people on a daily basis. I know the numbers are spiking. Sacramento, we're getting ready to go on curfew. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to solve in any kind of long-term way. But Debbie pointed out to me that she thinks it's a way to get people to not party this week. You know, we got Thanksgiving coming up, you know, people are going to be gathering, and it's kind of a way of just getting people home immediately afterwards. And you can't travel too far because, you know, you got to be home before curfew. But still, it's just a Band-Aid, you know. Anyway, we're not going to fix it today. It's not going to happen right now. I had a good conversation with Debbie though yesterday, and you know, this is a live show, so the other 2 interviews that I did were with people that was live, and you know, we're talking, and it's a whole different kind of energy when you got somebody right there. These I had to edit down and, you know, get to the good parts of it. So hopefully I did that. We're going to see right now. So here's the first part of the interview I did with Debbie Wu, aka Debbie Chang, co-owner of Casbah Restaurant in downtown Sacramento. Yeah. So you are the co-owner of Casbah, Middle Eastern restaurant, with Tanya Azar, and you've owned it about 5 years now, right?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are known as kind of a mecca for, you know, the creative community, you know, after, because you were always open so late. You got all those cool couches in there, and, you know, it's just, everything's good. You know, vegans can eat there, people who eat meat can eat there. All your beers are nice. It was a very warm environment.
What else?
So yeah, we were talking a little bit a minute ago about how that has all changed now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so kind of break that down for us. Like where are you at as far as like customer capacity and you know, what services are actually going on?
Sure, yeah. Obviously we're not doing any indoor dining. Even when they opened up the capacity for 25%, we opted not to do it at the time for, you know, multiple reasons. Right now we're just doing delivery and takeout and outdoor dining. There's no hookah right now, based upon the fact that we share the courtyard with our next door neighbor, Top of the World. as well as the fact that we don't really want to be blowing a bunch of smoke into the atmosphere right now. And there's no like belly dancing or musicians. It's different. It's very different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you said you guys are doing much more takeout is the kind of center of your business now?
Yeah, like way more than we ever did in the past.
Well, that's good though, because that means people are still
Mhm.
calling, right? In
Absolutely. Yeah.
fact, we're gonna put this up right now because I didn't know. I thought maybe it was just the patio thing. Yeah. So if anybody wants to get some takeout from Casbah, there's the number. And then your patio. So
Mhm.
talk about what you said you had to put up the heaters now.
Yes, so cold weather has begun, the
Yeah.
whole dreaded winter that everyone has been, fearing and whatnot, especially in the restaurant community. We've gotten some propane heaters and, you know, we're just trying to weatherproof things a little bit and remain safe. Obviously, airflow is required for the safest dining and stuff like that. We're just taking all of the measures we can to keep people warm and safe.
Yeah. So you haven't opened the inside of the restaurant for anything at all.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has it changed? How's your what was the word you? The steps of service. Talk a little bit about what that has added to your your burden of being a restaurant owner.
Well, we're less busy than we used to be, but due to, new steps of service, things are quite different, like we sterilize each pen after using it, each check presenter. There's a lot of, washing our hands constantly. Everything we can do to make sure things stay safe and clean and whatnot. Yeah, we are not, refilling waters at the tables. We're putting down QR code menus for a low contact with our guests and asking that people wear their masks when they interact with the servers and anytime they get up from the table. It's just a whole new dimension that we never had before this pandemic. It's different. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I didn't even know about the QR code thing. So people are kind of sending you their order over Wi-Fi?
What it is there's a code that we put down with each guest as they sit down with us,
Mm-hmm.
and they can scan it with their phone, and that's how the menu pops up. That way, we don't need to sanitize each menu each and every time, and we don't waste paper by just giving people disposable menus, single-use menus. And it's something I didn't know about, but my coworkers were like, "Get a QR code," and I said, "Somebody help me because I don't know how to do it." And it's
Yeah.
for us. So
That's cool.
yeah.
That's really cool. All right. So that's the first section of the interview. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm still learning how to do all this stuff, cutting everything up in clips. I think we're just gonna roll right into the next clip. Because like I said, you guys were kind of the go-to spot for, especially if we had a group of people, like
Yeah, super fun.
people have a hard time, agreeing on where you want to go. So Casbah was always kind of like, all right, let's just do Casbah. Everybody could agree on it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we miss it so much, just seeing people coming to us after a show or after an event or after, this, that, and the other, and just, celebrating with us or winding down with us, having a nightcap. That's something that we greatly miss,
Yeah, no, it's amazing to me. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on here is, well, one, to let people know you're still out there, still, providing what you provide to our community. And hopefully people are not forgetting, that we gotta get you through this as well. Because we, as a society, I feel strongly that we're going to get through this. We'll get back to some kind of what we experienced before, some kind of normal, social life. But we got to keep all you guys going. Otherwise, it's going to be a very different scene once we get back out there.
Right. And in terms of, normal and what defines the idea of normal. You know, I think the pandemic has also shown to the world that some things don't work and never worked in the first place, you
Right.
know? So
Yes.
hopefully when we do return to things, to whatever those things might be, there's some sort of evolution as well,
Yeah.
for the better, you know?
Yeah.
But there is so much that we all miss. I think that, you know, this year has been very, very hard, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And hopefully, we take it as a wake up call to address certain things. I think this is kind of off topic of what we're here to talk about, but healthcare for all, like if everybody was covered, if we had a system in place that could handle, volume, that was accustomed to handling all the citizens in this country,
Right.
I don't think we would be in this position.
Mhm.
Like trying to figure out how to protect everybody's profit margins and, all the hospitals like niche. And it's just a bottleneck, like we've clusterfucked ourselves into a standstill.
Mhm.
It's kind of embarrassing. Like I have friends in Europe and everything, and some in Asia, various Asian countries, and they're laughing. Everybody's absolutely laughing at us.
You know, I've never been one to do very well in school. I don't know if it's because of deadlines or just, you know, the structure of, you know, education system. But I remember one of the classes I took at UC Davis that I actually remember was about the healthcare system and how the United States system compares to other countries in the world.
Yeah,
And it was absolutely eye-opening for me at the time. You
yeah,
know, the class I just didn't forget. It really changed my perspective on, not even that I had too much of a perspective. It really just woke me up to the idea of healthcare and what it means and how it's defined, you know, in each
yeah.
country.
I
Hmm.
mean, we're in the middle of it now. Like it broke. Like our system broke. Like the only solution to deal with this pandemic has been to shut down our economy. And
Yeah.
America, like our economy has been our pride. It's like the only thing we have going, the only thing we always brag about. And we closed it down because we couldn't deal with the pandemic. It's astounding to me.
The whole thing is, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully, that people are taking this time to reset our expectations of what it means to live in a society, and also what we expect from our leadership. Because all this stuff is so far above you and I. Um, we do what we can. We're contributing where we can. We pay our taxes, all that kind of stuff. But we don't make these policy decisions. We don't even really have an influence on them, obviously. So that's part of what this whole thing is, like trying to place human beings into this equation in, a very real way.
Hmm.
Oh, me again. Yeah. So that's part two. Debbie's one of those cool creatures where she's actually an introvert. She's kind of a shy person, but also a restaurant owner. And we've all seen all these chef shows and restaurant shows these days. And if you know anything about chefs or you ever worked in a restaurant, they're not shy people. Those people are they're something else. Debbie's something else too, but she's yeah. Let's look at this clip.
Yeah. I'm an introvert, you
Yeah.
know, and ironically, I'm a bartender. So, you know, I'm just, you know, making drinks back in the day when the bar area was open, not right
Yeah.
now, just
Right.
making drinks, chatting, talking, you know,
Yeah.
but at the same time being an introvert. So when shelter in place first happened, for about a week or two, I was nervous along with everyone else, but naive, thinking this would only last a month.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the time to kind of just hang out by myself. I planted a vegetable garden, nothing grew, you know, just did my thing. And but even after that, I realized I miss people so much. I miss that connection. I miss people.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating because I kind of saw you as an introvert, uh,
Yeah.
but you're always out and you own a bar, and it was always fascinating to me,
Mhm.
that combination. But we
Right.
do. We all need each other. We all need the common space where we can just cool out, you know.
Right.
And they got one of the best cool out spots in Sacramento. Yeah, doing this interview and talking to her and go through all the pictures for this show was got me hungry and just made me miss that place a little bit more. I couldn't quite figure out how to get all these pictures in there, so I'm just going to kind of scroll through a few of them now. There's one. There's some food. My God, I'm starving. But yeah, it's Middle Eastern food, so it's all it's all those flavors, all that magic mix, and they do this thing with their cocktails too. They're always inventing new ones, and Debbie would often put out a call for people to name them, and it was pretty cool. And I did mention that she is one of the most righteous people. Her and Tanya both. They really have walked the walk their entire lives. And I forgot what happened, but sometime this year, one of their ex-employees was, I don't know, making some kind of weird comments, and Debbie went immediately to Facebook and just like kind of set the record straight that she hadn't heard about it, and once she did, the thing got handled quickly. And if you know Debbie at all, she did handle it quickly. And the other amazing thing to me about her is that she is one of the nicest people about everything. She's very straightforward, but she's gonna let you know. That's that bullshit is not permitted here. Yeah, these are some of this post was some of the pictures that I found today, scrolling through their Facebook. So this is the last part of the interview. I'm going to get to it. Debbie is currently working. I was texting her trying to see if she wanted to do a live interview at all, some off chance that she didn't go to work. But it's all good. She's there. Hopefully she's looking in right now, maybe. I just want to say thank you again. This will be the last part of the interview. Come on, chat a little bit more. Remind you to wear your mask because we're not through this thing. In fact, we're in an upswing as far as I know. And I want to get out there. I don't get my hair cut, obviously. It's not a priority for me, but for some people it is. And I want you to get your hair cut. I want you to be happy. I want you to look good, and I want you to feel good. But I want to get out and eat some food and drink some beers and, hang out with people that I enjoy in all these kind of places and, kind of get in the mix. So anyway, here's the last part of our interview. And
Well, as the holiday seasons are approaching and whatever, just support small business, support small. There's so many things that you can buy from a small business, whether it's like a small boutique or, a restaurant or whatever. Just remember that we need, every ounce of support, and we appreciate it. And just, that is something I would like to request of folks,
Yeah. Keeping this society together, in whatever ways we can. Stay off of Amazon. Maybe let's put that as a banner, and get out there and go support your people.
Yeah. Can you believe that toilet paper is gone again?
No.
All
That's
right.
the first thing we flock to. I don't understand it
I thought
at all.
everyone learned the first time that we're okay.
We did not learn that.
Yeah. I don't know. Amazon just made me think of toilet paper because I remember when the toilet paper scare first began. I peeked on Amazon for curiosity's sake, and toilet paper was like through the roof. The prices on Amazon. Yeah, steer clear, y'all. No Amazon.
Yeah. And you have enough toilet paper. Like, eat some more fiber in your diet. Jesus Christ, what do you need? What's going on out there?
I know.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Then I fall victim. I'm like, I should probably go get some.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, it's contagious.
I went and bought I didn't buy toilet paper, I went and bought a big bag of beans. I was like, what if the Mexicans get scared? I'm gonna be out of beans, so I went and bought some.
When this first happened back in March, I went to the Asian store to get rice, and all the rice was gone. So I feel you.
Yeah, yeah. Come down south. We got plenty of rice. We're yeah, it's funny. Because I stocked up on rice as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
In March, and we still haven't gone through either one of those bags.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even halfway through. It's yeah, but we're stocked.
Yeah, you are.
So there you go. That is episode 3 of Essential. If you're gonna have a takeaway, from this show, eat more fiber, wear your mask, keep your social distancing, and tell your people you love them. Nothing is promised for tomorrow. Make sure your people know where you stand with them, and yeah, we're gonna get through this. Let's raise our standards up, and start pushing through. We got a lot of work to do. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I will be doing this again Wednesday night, and I'm not sure who the guest is going to be at that point. It might be me. As you can tell, I could certainly do a whole show interviewing myself. But I want to thank Debbie. I want to thank the Casbah. Their number is still scrolling down to the bottom. Call them up, get some food. And that's about it. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
I gave you some